What's up, Tiger Nation? Steve Leslie, YSNLive.com on Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. Coach's Corner, Week 15 with Coach Guerriero, sponsored by WRS Wealth Advisors. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody at WRS. I can't thank them enough, Sean, for all they do for us at YSN and Springfield football. But we say it every week, Week 15. That's a good saying when we can talk again in Week 15.
Anytime I get to see you, it's a positive.
It's a pleasure to always see you again. Let's go back to last week. I don't think people understand the type of program Mogadore is and the state notoriety that they have. You played them, you've beat them 3 years in a row. How's a good football team you beat Saturday night?
They are. Coach Adorni does a great job over there. Their kids always fight. They're ready for everything, and he kind of talked about, with me after the game, just I think he got the most out of his kids. I think they're a young football team, but they never gave up, and it was a great battle for us Saturday.
You handled some adversity. You go up 14-0, they get it to 14-all, you run and kick for a touchdown. Is that a sign of a pretty mature team in your eyes that you witnessed again?
I do. For us to be able to deal with that, obviously we had a couple turnovers in the first half that killed us. I think we were moving in the right direction. Our defense stepped up and stopped a good running game. And with Mogadore, how they have the wide splits and they kind of do their own thing, it's not typical or you don't see a lot. So our kids had to adjust to it a little bit. But to be able to fight back from that battle when they tied it back up, and then I think there was a minute left, so we were kind of debating on, should we, if we get good field position, should we try to, go for a field goal or a touchdown? And then Nick popped the return. Just great timing. The first time that we took one to the house all year, and Nick, you could see him running down. I think he was smiling when he passed the 30-yard line. So
that's the first one for the year?
That was our first kickoff return for the year.
That's a good time for it. We have one saved for one more for this week and next week.
I think our special teams have done a very good job.
We've talked about that. It's been huge.
Yes. I think our kickoff team has gotten unbelievably, better through the weeks. We're at the beginning of the year, we were probably giving people the ball on the 30, 35-yard line. Now it's inside the 25. I think that Kason Kosick has done a great job of stepping up and taking on that role. Between our PATs and field goals and Shondell Gardner, I know we talked about that turnover, but he's done a great job in catching the punts and just trying to save field position. So through that's a phase of the game that people don't really think about it, but we do spend a lot of time, special teams. It's about 15 minutes a day just to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to try to win that battle.
Third regional championship. I wanted to ask you, I go back and look at this region. There's a lot of good football teams that you cleared to dig where you're at. It's a very good football region for you to get prepared for a state semifinal. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, it's a battle. Any time that you're in this region and you've got to battle Norwayne and Western Reserve and Mogadore and those type of teams. Our kids had to be ready to play quick too. With Norwayne, they were huge up front, just like Carey. But our kids seemed like possessed in that game. They played an unbelievable game. I think that was one of our better games and a clean game on both sides of the ball. But to do the regional final thing, I think back the first time we won it, we kind of talked about this coaching staff, and it's kind of talked about joking with that reporter again. You're kind of just happy you're there, and you get to see it. Everybody's saying you better enjoy it, but I think our kids are a little bit more focused this year than even last. And those seniors that we've been to that championship game, and they still got that chip on their shoulder. They want to win one. We can't just be satisfied with playing in these games. We just got to make sure we're practicing and when we have a purpose to try to win the big one this year.
I think that's such a key that you said. And it's no disrespect to any of the last 2 years teams. I talked with Bo about it. I love the drive that they have for teammates they've played with the last 2 years that aren't a part of it anymore.
Oh,
how huge is that? Do you see it?
This is a close bunch, and you take those past players where those guys are still calling and texting, and you hear them talking about it. They're still going over their house. So this is a true football family that these kids spend time with each other. And for some of this will be one of the happiest times of their lives thinking about this. I know it's one of mine. So when you get to spend this much time with these kids, and you see them grow up, and you see them becoming the young men. It's a process, but it's fun. It's fun to be around these kids.
How much do you enjoy this right now? Right now, I mean, obviously, and I wanted to see what you thought because I asked Mark this. It's hard for a group of young kids to play in a state championship last year and then start up a season. And yeah, you want to get to that destination, but you have off-season, weightlifting, a whole season to play. I think you guys have done a great job of week-to-week activity.
Well, you try to keep them focused on that and making sure the battle. And I think with our coaching staff, even through the season, we're always doing something new. Or we're always trying to put something, on a call sheet to make sure if we need one for the situation. I think, defensively and offensively, we challenge the kids mentally throughout the season just to make sure if we ever need to come back and say, hey, remember week 5 we did this to this team, and if we need that, we can come back to it and kind of just have it in our back pocket. So these kids are amazing on how they come and they prepare and how they're ready for practice. And you can kind of tell this year's been long. This has been a long season, but our kids are getting in the locker room a little bit slower.
A little slower. That's okay.
Getting water, it's taking a little bit longer, but they understand the process and they understand that we got work to do, and they're willing to put in the time and do everything we can to get another victory.
You're the leader of this, and a very good one. And when I talk to those guys, Jake Joyce and Bo, it's not just about football. This community is so tight in so many different ways. I talked with you about Peyton last week. That girl inspired me from the first time I got to say hello to her. I know she means a lot to you. I know she means a lot to your football team. She watches. She wants to be a part of it. Been a tough week for her. Anything from Coach Guerriero that you could tell her to get those spirits up?
Well, from last time I sent a message and we said we were going to bring home a regional championship,
Sure.
and we did. So we're going to try to get her another victory and just make sure she keeps fighting. Like I said, she's a tough girl, a positive girl. So she'll find a way to keep battling, sure. And that's family's great. They're a great family and positive. So she's just a tough cookie, man.
Yeah. Tougher than me and you, that's for sure. All right, Carey, talk about them a little bit. Good football team.
Good football team, very good. They're big. They're big up front, very similar to Norway. They got 2 big tackles. Their center's big. Tight ends, they got a 260-pound back that's going to try to get downhill. Their defense, they're going to try to load the box on us, I think, playing quarters coverage, or they'll play off a little bit. But very good football team, disciplined. They're going to try to establish the run. If we could maybe get them 3rd, 2nd and longs, I think it'll be in our benefit if we can get them off the field. I always talk, when we talk about this, is winning first down for our defense is going to be key. They really don't make too many mistakes. And at this time, every team's good. They have a great kicking game. Their kicker punts, kicks off, and does the field goal. He's their wideout. He's one of the better athletes on the team. But they're just, again, there's a solid team. They're not too flashy. They're going to try to fight us in a phone booth, I guess, and I think they're going to try to control the time of possession if they can. So it's our defense will end up stepping up, running to the football, and if we get a couple stops, give our offense a chance to throw some points up on the board.
I think we'll throw some points on the board. I like our chances with our offense. With Coach Guerriero, Coach's Corner, sponsored by WRS. To go out, I'll end it with you with this. To go out tomorrow with your kids on Thanksgiving. You have a great family. You've been here a long time. What's Coach Guerriero thankful for heading into Thanksgiving tomorrow?
It's my wife. Through this playoff run, this is a long season for everybody, but I think she's about ready to kill me just because the time we spend here and everything we end up doing. But she is absolutely fantastic.
So I don't want her to be mad at me because we're after practice. No. We're doing a little bit of that. She's super.
Taking care of
and Mark said that without quality wives, you can't do what you do. Correct?
With her, she's doing everything. She already got. I was kind of poke some jabs at her. She already got 3 Christmas trees up and they're all decorated.
So you just like tomorrow go to practice and then walk in and sit. Dinner. That's how the Guerriero family
I gotta. There's times you got to step up and do some stuff, or try to throw in a load of laundry for her and do the dishes.
Do what you can do.
But she is a fantastic woman, a great mother, a great wife. So I'm blessed. I'm blessed that she is in my life.
Well, happy Thanksgiving to her, no doubt. Happy Thanksgiving to the entire Springfield community. Your biggest win and get to a state championship again.
Oh gosh, there's so many things we can talk about. If we win the turnover battle,
let me ask you this. Does experience play a factor? I have to believe it does.
I would think when you're traveling and you're going on Saturdays and
Not knowing where you're going. You
Yeah.
guys have been a part of this.
and it's I think it's hard when you don't know. We've never seen the team you're watching on, or you're trying to compare. You know what I mean? Teams that they play and who's good and who's not good, and how good their league is, or how good their opponents were. Or you try to compare, and it's so hard not knowing. But I think by seeing it over time or seeing it past, you can try to compare a little bit. So it's with the experience that we have. I'll go back to my coaching staff too. I'm going to put my coaching staff online because I think we're going to get our kids in the right situation
Absolutely.
to win a game. So, no egos in that coach's
Nope.
office, and no matter what suggestions or who says this and that, it's been positive. So I've been blessed there too, or thankful for that too, to have these coaches with me day in and day out. And I think I said this before. When you come here, and a great place to work, and my best friends or who I coach with, this is the time we have spent. We have too much fun, you know what I mean, in doing this.
It's hard to believe
so,
you have Coach Guerrero having fun.
Got to.
I
They had the
appreciate you.
picture. They had the picture of me and Nick Slyke after he took it to the
I
house.
loved it.
That was funny.
When
But-
you do have some good sideline pictures. I will give you that. But
Oh, my God.
on behalf of all of us, DJ, Brian, Scott, myself, happy Thanksgiving, bro. I'm looking forward to watching a little practice tomorrow, and let's get that big dub and talk state championship next week and bring this baby home.
Sounds good to me. I
All
appreciate
righty.
you having us again.
Thanks.